The abandoned alien child waited 7 days. What the human mechanic did next broke every rule. The discovery in Sector 9. The distress signal nobody heard. Marcus Webb wiped grease from his hands as another day ended at Station Kepler's repair bay. The massive orbital platform hummed with life around him. Ships came and went. Traders haggled in 17 languages. And somewhere in the lower sectors, people lived lives he would never see. He was packing his tools when the alert came through his personal scanner. A faint distress beacon. Old technology. The kind nobody used anymore because modern systems were better. Probably broken equipment, he muttered. But something made him check the coordinates anyway. Sector 9. The abandoned residential area that had been sealed off 3 years ago after a radiation leak. Nobody went there. Nobody was supposed to be there. Marcus looked at the readings again. The signal was weak but steady. Someone or something was down there. Breaking protocol. Station regulations were clear. Sealed sectors stayed sealed. Only authorized personnel with proper equipment could enter. Marcus was a mechanic, not security or medical staff. He should report it. Let the proper channels handle it. That was the safe choice. The smart choice. But Marcus had learned something during his 42 years. Sometimes the safe choice left people dead while paperwork got processed. He grabbed his emergency kit and headed for the service tunnels. The descent to Sector 9 took 20 minutes through maintenance shafts that most station residents didn't know existed. Marcus had worked on Kepler for 15 years. He knew every corridor, every shortcut, every forgotten space. The radiation seals were old but still functional. He checked his personal shield generator. The readings showed safe levels inside. Whatever had caused the leak was long gone or contained. He broke the seal and stepped through. What nobody expected to find. Sector 9 looked like a ghost town frozen in time. Apartments stood with doors still open. Personal belongings scattered where people had dropped them during evacuation. Emergency lights cast everything in dim red. Marcus followed his scanner toward the distress signal. Down 3 levels. Through a residential corridor. To apartment 914. The door was closed but unlocked. He opened it slowly. Hello? Is someone here? A small sound came from inside. Not quite crying. More like whimpering. Marcus entered carefully. The apartment was small. 1 room with a kitchenette and bathroom. Standard low-income housing. In the corner, partially hidden behind an overturned chair, was a child. She couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 years old. Her skin was pale gray with faint luminescent patterns. Her eyes were too large for her face. Multiple colors shifted across them like oil on water. She was alien. Obviously terrified. And completely alone. The child who shouldn't exist. Hey, Marcus said softly, kneeling down slowly. I'm not going to hurt you. The child pressed herself further into the corner. Her small hands clutched a worn blanket. Marcus noticed several things immediately. She was thin. Too thin. Her clothes were dirty and torn. There were marks on her arms that looked like bruises. How long have you been here? He asked gently. The child didn't answer. Just stared at him with those impossible eyes. Marcus checked his scanner. 7 days. The distress beacon had been active for 7 days. 7 days alone in an abandoned sector. 7 days without food or water that he could see. 7 days of a child waiting for someone to come. His chest tightened with anger and grief. Questions without answers. My name is Marcus, he said. What's your name? Still no response. He looked around the apartment more carefully. There was evidence someone had been living here recently. Not 3 years ago during the evacuation. Recently. A makeshift bed in the corner. Empty food containers. A small collection of found objects that looked like toys. Someone had been hiding here. Someone had left this child behind. Are you hurt? Marcus asked. Can you understand me? The child finally spoke. Her voice was barely a whisper. Mama said wait. Mama comes back. Marcus felt something break inside his chest. When did Mama leave? Many sleeps ago. 7 days. This child had been waiting for 7 days because someone told her to wait. The decision that changed everything. Marcus knew the rules. Finding an unregistered alien child in a sealed sector required immediate reporting. Security would come. Questions would be asked. The child would enter the system. The system that had somehow allowed her to be abandoned here. The system that hadn't noticed when someone was living in a sealed sector. The system that left a 7-year-old alone for a week. He looked at the child's terrified face and made a choice that would change both their lives. I'm going to help you, he said. But we need to leave this place. Will you come with me? The child shook her head frantically. Mama said wait here. Mama comes back. I know, Marcus said gently. But Mama would want you to be safe and fed and somewhere warm. We can leave her a message telling her where you are. The logic seemed to reach her. She considered this carefully. Promise Mama finds me? Marcus hated himself for the lie. But sometimes kindness required dishonesty. I promise we'll make sure Mama knows where you are. The rescue nobody saw. The child let him approach. She was so light when he picked her up. Too light. Like she was made of paper instead of flesh. Marcus wrapped her in his jacket. She clutched her blanket and the distress beacon. What's your name? He asked as they moved through the corridors. Zara, she whispered. That's a beautiful name. Getting back through the maintenance tunnels was harder with a child. Marcus moved carefully. Zara didn't cry or complain. She just watched everything with those shifting eyes. When they reached the inhabited sectors, Marcus faced a problem. He couldn't just walk through the main areas with an alien child. Questions would be immediate. He took the long route. Service corridors and maintenance areas. The path workers used to move through the station unseen. His apartment was small. 1 bedroom and a living space. Standard bachelor housing for station employees. He set Zara down gently on his couch. She looked around with wonder at the normal apartment. Running water. Lights that weren't red emergency bulbs. Warmth. First steps toward trust. Are you hungry? Marcus asked. Zara nodded. He didn't know what her species could safely eat. But he tried simple things. Bread. Fruit. Protein bars. She ate slowly at first. Then faster. Like someone who hadn't seen real food in too long. Marcus watched her and felt rage building. Someone had abandoned this child. Someone had left her in a sealed sector to die slowly of starvation. When she finished eating, Zara looked at him with less fear. Thank you, she said quietly. You're welcome. You nice human. The words were simple but carried weight. This child knew humans. Knew some were kind and some weren't. Where's your mama from? Marcus asked carefully. Far away place. Mama said we hide. Bad people looking for us. Marcus felt cold spread through his chest. This wasn't just abandonment. This was something worse. The truth begins to surface. Over the next hour, Marcus got pieces of the story. Zara's mother was a refugee. They had come to Station Kepler illegally. Someone was searching for them. Mama hid them in Sector 9 where nobody looked. Then Mama went to get supplies and never came back. Marcus checked the station news feeds. 7 days ago, an unidentified alien woman had been detained by security. She was being held for deportation. No identification. No records. No way to prove who she was or where she came from. No mention of a child. The woman had probably hidden Zara before going out. Probably told her daughter to wait. To stay hidden. And then the system swallowed her up. And nobody asked if she had family. Nobody searched for a child. What comes next? Zara fell asleep on his couch, still clutching her blanket. Marcus sat in his small kitchen and faced an impossible choice. Option 1, report finding her. Let the system handle it. The legal approach that would probably end with Zara in detention or deported to a world she'd never known. Option 2, keep her hidden. Try to help her himself. Break multiple laws and risk everything. Option 3, try to find her mother and reunite them somehow. Marcus looked at the sleeping child. She looked so small and fragile. So completely vulnerable. He thought about his own daughter. Lost to him years ago when his marriage fell apart. Living on Earth with her mother. Growing up without him. He thought about chances. About moments when you could do something right even if it was technically wrong. Marcus pulled up his personal terminal and started searching. Information about refugee detention. About deportation processes. About legal representation for undocumented aliens. It was going to be complicated. Probably impossible. Definitely dangerous. But he'd already broken one rule by not reporting her immediately. Might as well break the rest while trying to actually help. A promise made. Zara woke a few hours later. She looked confused at first. Then frightened when she remembered where she was. It's okay, Marcus said softly. You're safe. Mama? I'm looking for her. I promise. Zara studied him with those incredible eyes. She was reading him somehow. Measuring his truth. You really promise? Yes, Marcus said. I really promise. And in that moment, Marcus Webb became responsible for a life he barely understood. For a child who shouldn't exist according to station records. For a promise that might be impossible to keep. But sometimes the impossible was worth attempting anyway. Outside his window, Station Kepler continued its endless rotation. Ships came and went. Life moved forward. And in one small apartment, a human mechanic and an alien child began building trust in a universe that seemed designed to break it. The fight for family. The search begins. Morning came with new problems. Marcus needed to work. He couldn't leave Zara alone. He couldn't take her with him. And he couldn't tell anyone about her. I need you to stay here today, he told her gently. Can you do that? Zara looked terrified. You leave? Like Mama? The words hit like a punch. I'm coming back. I promise. I have to work so I can help find your mama. Promise? I promise. He showed her how to use the food synthesizer. How to lock the door. How to contact him if there was an emergency. Then he went to work feeling like the worst person alive. Building a case. During his lunch break, Marcus met with someone he'd heard about through station gossip. Elara Chen. A lawyer who specialized in immigration cases. Someone who actually cared about refugees. He told her a version of the truth. He'd heard about a detained alien woman who might have a missing child. He wanted to help. Elara studied him with sharp eyes. Why do you care? Because somebody should. She seemed to accept this. The woman's name is Kessa. Species classification, Valerian. She's scheduled for deportation in 4 days. She's been asking about a child but security thinks she's lying to delay deportation. She's not lying, Marcus said. Can you prove the child exists? This was the trap. If he admitted he had Zara, questions would follow. But without proof, Kessa would be deported and Zara would eventually be found and separated from her mother forever. What if I could? Marcus asked carefully. Elara leaned forward. Then we might have a case. Family separation violations. Improper detention procedures. Failure to investigate claims. It could delay deportation. Maybe even get her asylum status. How do we do that? You'd need to bring the child forward. Officially. With me representing both of them. Marcus felt the walls closing in. This was the moment. The choice that couldn't be unmade. The hidden life. For 3 days, Marcus lived a double life. During work hours, he was just another mechanic fixing ships and equipment. During evenings, he became a parent to a frightened alien child. Zara slowly began to trust him. She talked more. Showed him drawings she made. Asked questions about everything. "Why you help me?" she asked one evening. Marcus thought about how to explain. "Because I have a daughter too. And I wish someone had helped me when I needed it." "Where your daughter?" "Far away. On Earth." "You miss her?" "Every day." Zara was quiet for a moment. Then she climbed onto the couch next to him and leaned against his side. A gesture of comfort from a child to an adult. Marcus felt his eyes burn with unshed tears. The system's response. On the 4th day, Marcus made his decision. He contacted Alara. "I have the child." There was a long silence. "You've had her this whole time?" "Yes." "That's kidnapping. Harboring an illegal alien. Obstruction of justice." "I know." Another pause. "Bring her to my office. Now. Before I change my mind about helping you." Marcus gathered Zara and explained they were going to see someone who would help find her mama. Alara's office was in the station's legal sector. Small but professional. She looked at Zara and something softened in her expression. "Hello, Zara. My name is Alara. I'm going to help you see your mama again." Zara looked at Marcus. He nodded. She turned back to Alara. "Promise?" "I promise to try very hard." It was honest. More honest than Marcus's promises. Zara seemed to appreciate this. Legal warfare. What followed was a bureaucratic nightmare. Security questioned Marcus for hours. Why had he taken the child? Why hadn't he reported finding her immediately? Did he understand the laws he'd broken? Marcus answered honestly. He'd found a terrified child. He'd kept her safe. He'd do it again. They wanted to charge him. But Alara was fierce. She filed emergency motions. Demanded immediate family reunification hearings. Brought in media attention. Suddenly the story wasn't about an illegal refugee and a lawbreaking mechanic. It was about a mother and child separated by heartless bureaucracy. Public opinion shifted fast. The reunion nobody expected. 5 days after Marcus found Zara, they brought her to the detention center. Through reinforced glass, Zara saw her mother for the first time in 12 days. Both of them broke. Sobbing. Reaching for each other through barriers. Security initially refused contact. But Alara threatened lawsuits. Media exposure. Public outrage. They allowed a supervised meeting. Marcus watched through another window as Zara and Kessa held each other. The child's small body wrapped around her mother like she would never let go. Kessa looked at Marcus through the glass. Mouthed 2 words. "Thank you." He nodded. Unable to speak past the lump in his throat. The cost of kindness. The legal battle continued for weeks. Marcus was fined heavily. Lost his security clearance temporarily. Faced possible criminal charges. But public support was overwhelming. Donations poured in to cover his fines. Legal funds for Kessa's asylum case. Offers of help from across the station. Alara built a case around family rights and procedural failures. How had security detained a mother without checking for dependents? How had a child survived alone for 7 days without anyone noticing? The station administration wanted the story to go away. They offered deals. Kessa and Zara could stay. temporary asylum while their case was reviewed. Marcus's charges would be reduced to minor violations. Not perfect, but enough. Building something new. 3 months later, Kessa and Zara had a small apartment in the residential sector. Legal status. Protection from deportation. Kessa found work as a translator. Her species had linguistic abilities humans valued. She was good at it. Marcus visited often. Brought supplies. Helped with station bureaucracy. Became something like family. Zara called him Marcus' friend. She drew pictures of him with her and her mama. Stick figures holding hands. One evening, Kessa asked him something. Why you really help us? Truth. Marcus thought about his answer. I have a daughter on Earth. Her name is Sarah. I haven't seen her in 6 years. Her mother took her away and I couldn't fight it. This pain you? Every day. Kessa nodded slowly. So you saved child you could save. Because you couldn't save yours. It was brutally accurate. Painfully true. Maybe, Marcus admitted. This good reason, Kessa said. This make you good man. The connection that remained. Months turned into a year. Zara started school. Learned to read standard language. Made friends with other children. She still had nightmares sometimes. Still clutched her old blanket. Still asked if Marcus was coming back whenever he left. But slowly, she healed. They all healed. Marcus received a message one day from Earth. His ex-wife. Sarah wanted to talk to him. She was older now. 17. Old enough to make her own choices about contact. They video called. Awkward at first. Then easier. Sarah asked about his life. He told her about his work. About the station. About a little girl he'd helped who reminded him that being a father wasn't just biology. It was choice and care and showing up when it mattered. The legacy of one choice. 2 years after finding Zara in Sector 9, Marcus attended her school performance. She was in a play about station history. Playing one of the original founders. She saw him in the audience and waved enthusiastically. He waved back. Kessa sat beside him. She love you like family, she said quietly. I love her too. You good human, Marcus Webb. You see child needing help and you help. No thinking about rules or cost. Just help. This what good humans do. Marcus thought about that. About the choice he'd made in an abandoned sector. The choice to care more about a child's life than about regulations. I just did what anyone should do. But most anyone don't, Kessa said. Most anyone walk away. You didn't. This matter. After the performance, Zara ran to them. Threw her arms around Marcus's legs. You came. You saw me. I wouldn't miss it, he said, lifting her up despite her getting bigger. You stay for dinner? Mama making special food. I'd love to. They walked home together through the station's busy corridors. A refugee mother, her alien daughter, and a human mechanic who'd broken every rule to keep them together. Just 3 people who'd become family by choice rather than blood. And somewhere in the universe, that mattered more than all the regulations and rules and proper procedures combined. Because sometimes humanity isn't about following laws. It's about recognizing when laws fail people. And choosing to be human anyway.